imagine everything collapses. The store's closed, supply chains are frozen, the news? Nothing but fear. But you're not panicking. Why? Because you've got food that'll still be good, not in a year or two, but decades from now. And no, we're not talking about overpriced freeze-dried kits or military rations. We're talking about real food, the kind you can still buy in a regular store, if you know what to look for and how to store it. These are the foods that survive any crisis, and maybe outlive even you. Today, I'm going to show you 10 of the most reliable, proven long-term survival foods, and why they belong in your prep. Fair warning, after this video, you'll never look at your pantry the same way again. White rice isn't just a pantry basic, it's a survival asset. If I had to choose just one food to rely on in a real crisis, this would be it. Why? Because rice gives you clean energy, it's easy to cook, it goes with almost anything. And when stored right, it lasts for decades, not an exaggeration. Properly sealed in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and kept cool and dry, white rice can last 30 years. That's over 11,000 days of reliable calories that won't rot, go rancid, or attract bugs. But here's where most people mess up. They buy rice, leave it in the store packaging, and call it a stockpile. It's not. That's a short-term grocery item. Good for maybe a year or two, and that's if it's not sitting next to a hot water pipe or in a damp basement. Real prepping starts when you don't just stash food, you secure it. Use airtight containers, store it in a cool, dark place. That's how rice becomes a food that could literally outlive you. So why do this now? Because rice isn't some eternal resource. Prices are already climbing. India has restricted exports. China and Southeast Asia are battling drought. The global market is unstable and demand is growing fast. This isn't a what if. It's already happening. And rice shelves won't empty because of panic buying. They'll empty because there's nothing left to sell. No stash? That means standing in line, paying triple, or going without. White rice isn't trendy, it's not exotic. It's simple, cheap, and absolutely essential. If you haven't started with it yet, start. It costs less than you think and matters more than you realize. Because when things fall apart, you won't care about superfoods or fancy energy bars. You'll care about hot, reliable food. And that's when white rice saves the day. Dried beans are survival fuel. Period. People often write them off as poor man's food or a boring side dish. And that's a mistake. Because in reality, dried beans are one of the most powerful, affordable, and long-lasting food sources you can stock. Protein, fiber, iron, magnesium, folate. It's all there in just a handful of beans or lentils. And here's the kicker. Paired with white rice, they give you a complete amino acid profile. That's not just food, that's body fuel. And now the part most people overlook: when stored correctly, in airtight containers, cool and dry with oxygen absorbers, dried beans can last 25, even 30 years. No, that's not a typo. That's backed by lab results and university studies. After decades, properly stored beans were still edible, still nutritious, still tasted like food. That means if you build your bean stockpile once, you're buying yourself decades of reliable protein. Decades. But like rice, there's a catch. You can't just toss a grocery bag of beans in the back of the pantry and forget about it. Those thin plastic packages let in air and moisture. Give it a couple of years and you might open a bag of mold instead of a meal. This is where real prepping begins. Airtight storage, mylar bags, no light, no heat. That's the difference between panic hoarding and long-term resilience. Right now, meat is getting more expensive, supply chains are shaky, and beans? They're becoming more than just a budget option. They're survival currency. Because in a crisis, you're not trading chips or candy. You're trading what fills bellies and keeps people going. And in that equation, beans are gold. So if you haven't started your dried bean stockpile, start. They're nutritious, they last forever, and they're versatile. Soup, stew, mash, even flatbreads, these humble little legumes can do it all. And when the shelves go empty, they might just save you. Got a go-to bean recipe that never gets old? Drop it in the comments. Your idea might help someone build a smarter, tastier prep. Honey isn't just food, it's a survival legend. And no, that's not just a phrase. Archaeologists have found jars of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs, sealed for over 3,000 years. And guess what? It was still edible. No rot, no spoilage, not even turned to rock. It kept its flavor, texture, and healing properties for 3 millennia. Show me another food you can say that about. Maybe salt, but salt doesn't heal. Honey is antibacterial, it's a natural antiseptic, a wound salve, a source of fast, clean energy. It fights infection, soothes sore throats, reduces inflammation, and in a grid-down crisis, it could literally save your life. Got a cut? Put honey on it. Sore throat? Stir a spoon into warm water. Low energy? One hit of honey gives you instant fuel. And unlike sugar, it comes with actual benefits. Ever used honey as first aid, not food? Share it in the comments. Real stories matter. Now let's talk storage. Unlike rice or beans, honey doesn't need special prep. Just keep it in a sealed glass jar, away from light and moisture. And that's it. Even if it crystallizes, place the jar in warm water and it returns to liquid. It doesn't spoil, it doesn't rot, it doesn't mold. Honey is timeless, literally. And right now, in a world of unstable supply chains, rising prices, and overpriced medicine, honey isn't just a treat, but it's a strategic stockpile. Not a jar in the kitchen, a box, maybe 2. Because you never know when the shelves will go empty, the pharmacy will shut down, and honey will be sitting there, waiting like it always has. You can forget to buy chocolate, you can skip the canned soup, but if you don't have honey in your emergency stash, you're missing one of the most reliable survival tools on Earth. Salt isn't just a seasoning, it's survival. Without it, your body literally starts to shut down. Nerves stop firing, muscles stop contracting. Water slips right through your system. It's one of the simplest minerals on Earth, and one of the most vital. No salt, no survival. That's not a metaphor, that's biology. But salt isn't just about physiology, it's ancient tech. Long before fridges, vacuum seals, or canned goods, salt was how people stayed alive through winter, war, drought, and distance. It preserves meat, fish, vegetables. It pulls moisture out, creates a hostile environment for bacteria, and extends shelf life for months, even years. Salt is a natural sterilizer. It kills microbes, cleans wounds, preserves food, purifies water, and keeps rot at bay. In every sense of the word. And here's the magic. It never goes bad. Ever. Archaeologists have found salt that's thousands of years old and still perfectly usable. Store it dry, sealed tight, and you've got a prep that lasts longer than you do. No special conditions, no refrigeration, no bugs, no spoilage. Just sitting on your shelf waiting for its moment. Now think about this. You can stock up on rice, beans, canned goods, but without salt, even your best food won't taste like food. No flavor, no satisfaction, and worse, no sodium. In crisis conditions, with stress, heat, sweat, physical labor, your body bleeds salt. Fail to replenish it? Expect cramps, weakness, dizziness, and dehydration. That's not just unpleasant, that's dangerous. And here's one more thing. Salt is barter gold. When supplies run dry, people won't be trading candy bars and soda. A small bag of salt could be worth more than anything in your pantry. Most folks underestimate it because it's everywhere, in normal life. But when normal disappears, salt becomes one of the most valuable things you can own. Sugar isn't just a sweetener. In survival mode, it's fast energy, a powerful preservative, and a strategic essential that belongs in every emergency stash. People often dismiss sugar. It's unhealthy, it's indulgent, it's unnecessary. But the truth is, in a real crisis, sugar is fuel, both physical and psychological. Let's start with the basics. Sugar doesn't spoil, ever. Like salt, if stored properly, sealed tight, away from moisture, it lasts for decades. You can buy a bag of sugar today, and it'll still be good 10, 20 years from now. It may harden or clump, but it won't rot. Just break it up and use it. That makes sugar one of the most reliable long-term storage foods out there. But here's where its real power kicks in. 1. Preservation. Sugar draws out moisture, which means it prevents microbial growth. It's how you make jams, syrups, pastes, and fruit preserves that stay edible for months, even years. No fridge, no problem. Sugar gives you a way to preserve berries, fruits, even flowers, long after the fresh stuff is gone from store shelves. 2. Instant energy. When you're exhausted, freezing, or burned out, sugar can be the jolt your body needs to keep going. Fast carbs hit the bloodstream instantly, giving your brain and muscles the signal. We're not done yet. A spoon of sugar and water can stabilize you in a critical moment. It's not just nice, and it's necessary. 3. Emotional comfort. In times of fear, stress, and chaos, something sweet can feel like an anchor. Sugar offers calories, but also normalcy. A warm drink with sugar, a sweet bite of bread. It reminds you that life isn't completely gone. It's psychological survival, and it matters. And let's not forget barter value. Sugar always runs out during crisis. People will trade heavily for the chance to bake, make dessert for their kids, or just feel like things are okay again. When sweet becomes rare, it becomes priceless. So don't listen to those who call sugar empty calories. In survival, these are calories you can afford and might desperately need. Add it to your stash, not just in case, but because you'll be glad you did. One day, sugar might save more than your mood. It might save your life. Canned tuna and salmon are survival protein armor. These little metal cans, they're worth way more than they look. Why? Because inside them is meat that needs no fridge, no cooking, no gas, no electricity. Just crack it open and eat. And in a crisis, that alone can be a game changer. What do you actually get from a can of tuna or salmon? Clean, high-quality protein, the kind your body can't function without. Protein isn't just for building muscle. It's the backbone of your immune system, your tissue repair, your energy, and even your brain function. No access to fresh meat? Can't afford it? Canned fish is your affordable, shelf-stable alternative. And there's more. These aren't just protein bombs. They're packed with omega-3 fatty acids, crucial for your heart, brain, joints, and mental resilience. In a high-stress breakdown situation, that matters more than you think. Salmon leads the pack here, but even basic tuna delivers nutrients. Rice and beans never will. Now about shelf life. Forget the best buy date. That's marketing. That's legal insurance for manufacturers. Properly stored canned fish can last 5, 7, even 10 years beyond that date. If the can isn't bulging, rusty, or leaking, you're probably good. And what you've got is a meal that might outlive your freezer. It's also a perfect fit for your go bag. No fear of heat, no special packaging. Light, compact, dense in nutrition. Toss a can into your emergency kit, add a few crackers or rice packs, and you've got a full meal, even if civilization vanishes overnight. If you're building a real food reserve, not a symbolic one, you need more than just a few cans. We're talking dozens. Tuna, salmon, sardines. Get what's affordable and available. This isn't maybe food, this is survival food. The kind that can keep you going for weeks, maybe months. And don't forget, in a crisis, one can of fish can become currency. It can be traded, gifted, shared, respected. You don't have to explain it. You just hand it over, and everyone understands its value. Do you stock canned fish in your reserves? Or are you putting your trust in beans and beef? Let us know in the comments. What are you betting on? Peanut butter is hands down one of the smartest survival foods you can stock. And here's why. It's a calorie-loaded, fat-packed, protein-rich powerhouse, all sealed in a simple jar you can eat straight from. No knife, no stove, no water. In a crisis, that's close to perfect food. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter give you about 200 calories, a solid hunger hit, hours of satiety, and fats your body desperately needs when it's in survival mode. Add in 8 grams of protein per serving, and you've got a meat tier fuel source, only cheaper, longer lasting, and way easier to store. Why does that matter? Because in most emergency diets, fats are the first thing people run short on. Everyone talks about carbs and protein, but fats? They give you long-term energy. They protect your organs. They help regulate body heat in the cold. Peanut butter delivers all of that in one spoonful. It's also crazy versatile. Eat it straight, spread it on crackers, mix it with oats, stir it into honey, or use it in DIY survival bars. It's familiar, it's tasty, and it packs serious calorie density. In a world falling apart, peanut butter can feel normal. And sometimes normal is survival. What about shelf life? No, it doesn't last forever, but it lasts a long time. Most jars are good for 1 to 2 years, but in cool, dark storage with the lid sealed tight, it can go even longer. Just rotate. Use the old, buy new. Easy, because you're going to eat it anyway. Now here's what people miss. In a crisis, peanut butter will vanish fast. Why? Because everyone trusts it. Parents grab it for their kids. Adults grab it for energy. Athletes grab it for performance. Preppers grab it because it just works. That means shortages. That means price hikes. So don't wait for the shelves to go empty. Stash a box or two in your pantry. It's not a luxury. It's a strategic reserve. Every jar holds dozens of servings of strength, stability, and calm. And in a world where tomorrow might look nothing like today, that's priceless. Powdered milk might be one of the most underrated survival foods out there, but make no mistake, it's critical. If you're prepping smart, not just checking boxes off a blog list, powdered milk should absolutely be in your stash. We're all used to fresh milk. Short shelf life, fridge dependent, always running out. But when the power's down, the store's shut, and your fridge is empty, powdered milk becomes a lifeline. Let's start with the numbers. Stored properly, airtight, cool, and dry, powdered milk lasts up to 20 years. That's not fiction, that's fact. Buy it once, and it'll be there for you decades down the line. No fridge, no last-minute runs. Just reliability. Why does that matter? Because milk is more than a drink. It's a base for cooking, a source of protein, calcium, and B vitamins. It's vital for kids, for the elderly, for anyone whose body is under strain. In survival situations, having milk means having options and an edge. You can mix it into oats, mash, soups, breads, sauces. Use it for hot drinks. If you've got the skills, you can even turn it into yogurt or cheese. And for people who can't imagine coffee without milk, this is psychological comfort. And that matters more than you think. Too many folks dismiss powdered milk as fake or for babies. But truth is, it's one of the most compact, efficient, and adaptable foods you can store. Lightweight, long-lasting, nutrient-packed. And when choices are slim, it's exactly what your body needs. Here's another angle, barter. In crisis, when families with kids are cut off from fresh goods, a single can of powdered milk might be worth more than cash. That's not an exaggeration. It's been proven in crisis after crisis. Milk is always in demand, so don't wait. Don't treat this like a maybe product or something just for kids. This is a foundational asset, one that gives you nutrition, flexibility, and control. In a world full of uncertainty, that's everything. Make sure your stash isn't just sugar and beans. Add the things that bring balance and strength. Powdered milk is one of them. Have you ever cooked with powdered milk? Or is it just sitting on your shelf, just in case? Drop your tips in the comments. Someone else might need that idea. Lentils are one of the smartest, most versatile, and most resilient foods in any prepper's arsenal. If beans are the bricks of your food foundation, lentils are the steel mesh. Same strength, faster results. Why? Because lentils cook way faster than beans, need less water, and still deliver the full package. Protein, fiber, iron, magnesium, and B vitamins. When fuel is scarce or water is limited, lentils are priceless. No soaking. Minimal cooking. Whether you're using a campfire, a pot, or the last of your propane, you'll have a hot, filling, nutrient-rich meal in under 30 minutes. That's survival efficiency. Shelf life? Over 20 years when sealed properly. Store them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, in airtight containers, away from heat and moisture, and you've got a product that won't fail you for decades. But lentils aren't just practical, they're endlessly flexible. Soup, stew, mash, veggie patties, casseroles, side dishes. All possible without refrigeration, fancy tools, or fragile ingredients. And here's what most overlook. Lentils feel like home. In the chaos of crisis, a warm bowl of seasoned lentils brings comfort, familiarity, and psychological stability. That's not just food, that's mental survival. Finally, the price. Lentils are one of the cheapest superfoods on the market. One bag costs less than a coffee and gives you dozens of full meals. Pair that with a 20-plus year shelf life and you've got one of the best food investments you'll ever make. Canned chicken or beef isn't just meat in a tin. It's long-term power, protein, and peace of mind. No fridge, no freezer, no cooking required. And when crisis hits, that means everything. Picture this. No power, no gas, no food deliveries, and you're hungry. What do you have? What's on your shelf? If you've got a can of meat, you've got a meal. Ready to eat. Right now, cold, with rice, with beans, on bread, however you want it. That's not just food, that's a solution. These cans last for years, sometimes 5, sometimes more, depending on packaging and storage. Check the seal, no swelling, no rust, and you've got shelf-stable protein ready to go, even if the world outside collapses. Meat isn't a luxury. It's protein, fats, iron, vitamin B12. The essential fuel your body can't easily replace. Canned meat is also incredibly versatile. Toss it into soups or stews, mix it with pasta, rice, eggs, or just eat it straight from the can. This isn't powdered or freeze-dried mystery meat. This is real food. That fills you, that comforts you. In every crisis, meat is the first thing to disappear from shelves. Why? Because it's familiar, it's filling, it's fuel. If you've got a supply, you're already ahead. It's also an elite barter item. A single can of beef or chicken could be traded for bread, medicine, even fuel. Everyone sees the value. Everyone wants it, especially families, especially when the crisis drags on. So don't overlook canned meat. This isn't last resort food. It's strength in a can. It's steady calories. It's your reliable fallback when everything else stops working. Put it on your shelf and sleep better. Because when you've got protein, you've got a fighting chance. What do you stock? Chicken, beef, or maybe homemade canned stew? Let us know in the comments. Your setup might inspire someone else's. This isn't exotic prepper fantasy. This isn't forum hype or doomsday paranoia. These are real, science-backed foods when tested by time that will outlive your pantry, your storage shelf, maybe even you. But there's one catch. You have to store them right. Cool, dry, dark, airtight. Oxygen is your enemy. Mylar bags, glass jars, tight-sealed containers. These aren't accessories, they're requirements. Start small, one shelf, one bucket, one tote. Because when the shortages hit, it'll already be too late. You're not just buying food, you're buying time. Prep smart, live ready, and remember, the next crisis won't wait.